world leaders and hundreds of business CEOs, leaders, academics, and some celebrities are all gathering to take part in those talks. Joining them, of course, is our own business editor, Marcus Carlson, who should be on the line with us there. Marcus, how are you doing? And can you give us an update on the first day in Davos?
Absolutely. I'm doing very well, Kate. Thank you very much indeed. Now, someone has described Davos as speed dating for global chief executives and politicians. And the first day of Davos certainly has that air to it because people are networking, people are trying to suss out and a lot of the conversations here are about what the outlook will be for 2014. Will this really be the year when the global economy comes back in from the cold as the IMF a number of times have come out to downgrade global growth? A lot of the conversations that I've been having, they've been pretty much along the same themes. We've been talking about global growth in 2014, what the outlook is for businesses and major companies. Earlier, I spoke to the head of one major company, Maersk, which is the biggest shipping container company in the world. So to a certain extent, it certainly has the pulse on where the global economy is heading and where global trade is heading. And that's where I started my conversation with Niels Andersen, the chief executive of Maersk. I asked him about global trade flows in 2014. Let's listen in.
Marcus, we seem to have a problem with that particular interview. I know you spoke to him earlier. We'll try to get that for our viewers a little later on. But in the meantime, we have been hearing from a lot of world leaders who've been addressing the World Economic Forum. Who are the big headliners that have been speaking today, and who are we expecting in the coming days?
Well, I'd say that the big headliner today when it comes to politicians and global leaders is the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. He has held this keynote speech here in Davos this year, and that country is very much in focus after 2013, because if there was one success story during 2013, Japan, to a certain extent, was it, because 2013 was seen as the year when the Japanese economy really came back to life, and much of it, or much of the credit, at least for now, seems to be going to the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. He has been applying Abenomics, as it's called in Japan, which is basically a lot of monetary stimulus. In a nutshell, it means a lot of printing of money by the Japanese central bank. That is seemed to be stimulating the Japanese economy. It seems to be putting more energy back into exports, for instance, which is helping out companies like Toyota and also Sony over in Japan. So Shinzo Abe certainly had eyes on him as he spoke earlier here in Davos, as, for instance, there are concerns that if that monetary stimulus continues, that inflation will come up in Japan.
Marcus Carlson, our business editor in Davos for the World Economic Forum. Thank you so much for that update. We'll have a lot more, including that interview with the chief executive of Maersk Shipping Company, coming up for you later on this evening. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick look at the markets. In the UK, we saw the pound sterling rise to a one-year high against the euro. This on some news that the UK's unemployment rate dropped to a surprising low of 7.1%. London's FTSE, though, closed down a little bit, as did the DAX in Germany. The CAC 40 here in Paris ending the day in positive territory. We're seeing a mixed picture on Wall Street, too. The Dow Jones, declining there a little bit. And that's because of some disappointing results from IBM, the computing giant. I'll have a lot more on that and much more business news coming up later in the program. For now, I'm going to send it back to you, Francois.
All right, many thanks for that, Kate Moody. We're going to go back to Switzerland, this time not to Davos, but to Montreux.